I'm Lesley. I have had cancer twice. I was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 2018 when my youngest of 4 boys was 6 months old. Went through a year of treatment, surgery, chemo, radiation, and was doing great. Had just passed the 2-year mark of being cancer-free from that and was diagnosed with AML in 2020, right at the beginning of COVID. So while I was here for the summer of my AML diagnosis and my transplant, it was a weird time because COVID had just hit, so there were no visitors in the hospital. My husband couldn't come up here, my kids obviously couldn't come up here. And I'm chatty. I want to be around people. I want to have, friends and things to talk about. So, the staff up here on 5 South, they were my immediate family. They were everybody here was great, and they were the encouragement and the support that I needed when my family and friends couldn't be here. I have just passed the 2-year mark again of being cancer-free, but from leukemia this time. It was always encouraging to me, especially with the AML diagnosis, to hear from other people who had been through it and survived and were doing great, because you hear all of the dreadful statistics and poor prognosis, and of course when you're just feeling bad in the middle of it, you just can't see it ever being better. Seeing pictures of actual people and talking to actual people that were like, hey, I made it through, I'm this many years out, was just very encouraging, and kind of that little jolt of hope that, helped you get through the day someday. So that's why I wanted to try to give back and be part of that hope for somebody else. I had spoken with some of the nurses after my transplant, and after things were kind of settling down a little bit, and we had talked about volunteer opportunities. I had done some things to get some just pajamas, blankets, some different things up here for the patients, just to make it feel maybe a little less hospital-y, and just to make them a little more comfortable. That was something that a lot of my friends did for me when I was up here. And one of the nurses just posed the idea to me. She's like, hey, what would you think about working with LLS and being part of that? And of course, I'm like, yeah, I'm game, sure. Where do I sign? So we were really excited about today, just finally getting to do what we've has been in the works for, what seems like about a year or so now. The goal is twice a month to come spend some time hanging out with some really cool patients. One patient and her mom were just talking about how overwhelming everything was, and I think just acknowledging how hard this is, and just that, I really do get it. I really do understand how scary, how overwhelming everything is, how it just turns your world completely upside down overnight. She said before I left the room, hey, you really broke the tension in the room, and you really, lifted our spirits. And that, for me, that's what it's about. I want someone to laugh. I want them to smile. I want to help provide a little bit of joy for that person for the day. It's about encouraging them. It's not, for my glory or to make me look good or to check off my volunteer box. The whole purpose of me being here is for the patients. So it's really about them and what they need.